Hey, it's Eric from School of Guitar Theory. This is a tutorial on how to play Flowers by Miley Cyrus in standard tuning. In this video, we're going to talk about the chord progression and the strumming patterns used to play the song. After we learn the song, we're going to focus on a technique for left-hand muting that will make the chords sound cleaner and tighter, as well as easier to play. But first, we're going to get into a little music theory and discuss the circle of fourths. If you aren't interested in music theory, you can always skip ahead using the chapters in the description and get straight to the lesson. In Flowers, we hear A minor, D minor, G, and C. These are played using what's called the circle of fourths, which is a pattern that's used in music theory to organize different chords and different keys. Here's a really complicated chart that illustrates the circle of fourths or fifths used in music theory, but don't let that intimidate you. This is like a map for how to write songs. Every key and every chord is included in this chart. We don't have to use every single one, but this is a template for the most natural way for those chords to move from one to another, given the basic physics of sound and music. Here's what it sounds like when I play only the minor keys around the circle, starting on C minor. Flowers, as an example, starts with A minor, D minor, G, and C. And in some parts, like at the end of the verse, the song goes all the way to an F chord. And instead of following the circle all the way around, it jumps back to E and breaks up the pattern. Finally, it goes back to A minor and the cycle repeats. Back to our F, our E, and there's that A minor again. That circular pattern that it moves in is exactly why it's called the circle of fourths. Two other examples of circle of fourths harmony are I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor and Fly Me to the Moon, as famously recorded by Frank Sinatra. A lot of pop and rock music uses the circle of fourths because it works so well together, but it's not the only way to write music. A good example of a great song that doesn't use the circle of fourths or fifths would be All Along the Watchtower, as written by Bob Dylan and famously recorded by Jimi Hendrix. It goes like this. Flowers is Miley Cyrus's comeback anthem after her turbulent relationship with Liam Hemsworth. It's full of all of these references to these traumatic things that she experienced in the relationship. She was cheated on, their home burned down, all kinds of really serious things happened. And something I noticed when I first heard the song was that the chord progression was almost identical to this other song, I Will Survive, which is this classic, again, a comeback anthem about moving forward from a difficult situation. So Flowers sounds like this. And I Will Survive sounds like this. Getting into learning the song, this is a chord-heavy song, but it doesn't repeat the same chord or picking patterns throughout. Because of this, I've broken this lesson down by the section in order of how they're played. Let's start with our introduction. We begin with a C major 7 arpeggio. It goes like this. An arpeggio is just playing the individual notes of the chord one at a time. You may have seen arpeggios before and didn't even realize it. Sometimes when we see an arpeggio, we think that we're playing those notes individually one at a time, like this. Which actually happens sometimes, but in an arpeggio, we're holding every note and sustaining one note into the next to create a fuller sound. It looks like this. After the intro, the song uses the same group of chords over and over again, and those chords would be A minor 7 at the 5th fret, D minor 7 at the 5th fret, G major at the 3rd fret, C major at the 3rd fret, and then F major at the 1st fret, E major, which is an open position chord, and then there's one kind of a mystery chord, and this is a C over a B. Basically what that is our C major chord, and we take the first note on our A string and move it to the left or down by a half step to the note B. So it would be 2nd fret on A instead of 3rd fret. It sounds like this. Feel free to practice these chords if you aren't comfortable with them before getting into the strumming patterns for the song. Beginning from the first verse, we're back to our A minor 7 chord again, and the way that we play this is we play the lowest note, the bass note, on the E string, and then we play the D, G, and B strings, alternating between bass note and then our little chord. We do the same thing for our D minor chord, so 5th fret on the A string, and then a little chord on the D, G, and B. From there we go to our G chord, 3rd fret, we play the low note, and then we play our little triad, little 3-note chord, and then we go to our C chord, so 3rd fret on our A string, and then we add our 5th frets on the D, G, and B. From there, we play the same chords again. This time we're going to play them as arpeggios. So remember what we talked about earlier in the video. We're not going to play the notes individually. Instead, we're going to hold our chords and just play the notes one at a time and let them ring out over each other to create almost like a harp effect. So again, starting with our A minor chord, D minor, G, C, back to A minor again, back to D, and finishing with an E major arpeggio. So we find this E major chord position down here, and we play this. Notice that we're skipping a few of those strings, so watch the tablature to know which notes you're playing and which notes you're not. From there we go into our first chorus, which is the same series of chords, but played with a very different rhythm. The rhythm for this one is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. The picking motion is 1, down, rest, up, up. So it's always down, up, up. That same pattern happens through our chord sequence, so I'll play that for you now so you can see it. Here we go. A minor, to D minor, to G, to C. Now for this last one, this is where we go to that C over B chord. So that index finger slides down. Let's do that one more time from C. 1, 2, 3, and 4. From there we repeat that sequence a second time and play the exact same chords with the exact same rhythm. I'm going to play it all the way through so you can just hear what it sounds like. Here it is. A minor. Nice. We do that a third time. Here it is. Now from here we go to our F major chord, bar chord at the first fret, and we just give that a big strum. Hold that for 4 beats, and then we go down to our E major chord, open position, strum that, hold it for 4 counts as well. From there we have a little groove that takes us back into the verse. So this kind of post-chorus groove uses the same cycle as before. A minor, D minor, G, back to C. Nice! From there we go into the second verse, and the second verse again uses that same series of chords, and this time we're playing them entirely as arpeggios. So let's try these together, starting from A minor. 1, 2, ready, go. To D minor, to G, to C. Repeat that again. To D minor, to G, to C. We do it another time. D, D minor. And this time, again, after this last round, we go to our E major chord and play that as an arpeggio. Beautiful. Let that ring out. It's a really great moment in the song where things just pause for a minute and it feels like it floats. So cool. From there we go to our second chorus, and our second chorus is almost the same as our first chorus. The only difference is the structure. So we're going to, again, play through that together and just talk through it so that we know what's going on. From A minor, D minor, G major, C major, C over B. There's that tricky chord again. Just stretch for a second. You only hold it for one beat. From there, we repeat that sequence again. A minor, D, G, C. Repeat it a third time. And then back to our F major chord, to our E major chord. And this time we play this little outro vamp kind of thing from our chorus. We do that twice. So again, same kind of chunky, funky rhythm with the same chord progression as before. 1, 2, here we go. D minor. Do it again. After we play that chord progression the second time, we play a couple of chords that we just hold out. So we're going to play our A minor, hold that for 4 counts, D minor, hold that for 4 counts, and then we go to our E major. And again, we hold that out for 4 counts, let it really vibe. The song feels like it floats for a second, and we're into our last chorus. So again, same funky chord progression, same funky strumming that we did before, beats 2, then the and of 3 and the and of 4. Down, up, up. Here's our chorus, starting on A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor, G, C, C over B. Do it again. Third time. Now we have an F major chord resolving to an E major chord, and we tag this. We play it again, F major to E major, and we finish with our vamp again, our little groove starting on A minor. 1, 2, here we go. 1. Last time. And that's the end of the song. Moving on to some technique. The chorus gets this tight, funky sound that contrasts the verses using a technique called left-hand muting. Here's what that sounds like not using left-hand muting. Left-hand muting is really just relaxing your fingers enough that the sound goes away while you're playing, unlike palm muting, which is resting part of your picking hand on the strings to mute them or make them softer. There are 2 important things to pay attention to when doing left-hand muting: a clean sound and good hand position. First, let's look at the fingers playing the chords. We want to use enough pressure to get a clean sound and then relax the fingers to stop the sound. I'll use the A minor chord for this example. So we play and then relax. Play and then relax. Second, be careful not to squeeze too hard when playing the chords. This is good, healthy form and prevents unnecessary wear and tear on your joints. Here's an exercise to practice your muting. We're going to start by strumming our A minor chord 4 times and then doing a mute after that 4th strum. It'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Play it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, and relax. Nice. Now let's do the same thing, but we're going to mute after every 2 strums. So we'll go strum, strum, mute, strum, strum, mute. Here we go. Practicing like this helps you maintain good form and healthy habits while playing. If you learn bad habits early on, it can be really hard to unlearn them. Bad form can hold you back in your playing and potentially create some physical problems too. I post practice with me videos every day where we work on form and technique. If you feel that yours needs a little bit more love after practicing your left hand muting, you should go ahead and check those out. In closing, we touched on the circle of fourths, which is a technique used to build chord patterns, the chord progression and strumming patterns used for flowers, and worked on our technique with left hand muting. If you enjoyed this video, it really helps the channel out if you hit the like button. We post new song tutorials and playthroughs weekly. If there's a song you want to learn, let me know in the comments. If you want to improve your playing, we also post routines for you to practice with daily, and bonus content from time to time too. If you'd like to get notified every time we post a new video, feel free to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.